Hello, welcome to the Stamping with Val page, Facebook page. I'm here today with my weekly craft and chat. I think I've called it craft and chat, sometimes I've called it create and chat, sometimes I've called it weekly craft and chat and realised I'm not terribly good at being weekly. But so Facebook Live, craft and chat, I think that's what I'm going to go with. I don't want to put the weekly in there in case I can't guarantee it. I'm just trying to bring up the video itself on my iPad so that I can see what I'm doing, and then I can see your comments as well. Sounds like the sound's already off on my iPad, so that's good. Okay, so then I can see your comments pop up and stuff like that. So I've been rushing around this morning, so I've got the obligatory cup of tea with me. Friday's the morning I collect my shopping. Have I got something on the end of my nose, or is it just light? I've had a cold. I've had a cold all week. One of the kids brought it home at half term, and she was ill for a couple of days, but not majorly. And then Paul and I got it by the late Friday. We were like, oh, this isn't looking good. And by Saturday we were like, oh, Sunday, oh, Monday, oh. All the way through till probably about Wednesday. Finally feeling better the last couple of days. Still tired, still a bit, but nose isn't running quite so much. Not quite sniffy as I was, so I'm getting there. Yeah, but Friday mornings is the morning I collect my shopping from the local supermarket. So I do like click and collect. So I order it online and they pick it all, and then I just go and collect it. I just take the car and they go, here you are, and stuff it all in the boot of my car, which is great. But then I got caught. The lady who pulled in behind me happens to be a friend. We chatted so much, the man waiting to do the deliveries got bored and went back and sat in his van because it was raining. He couldn't get on. I think we might have upset him a little bit. So I was later getting away. Then I got there so early, and then I was chatting to a friend I hadn't seen in a while. So that was good. So then I got back here, and then I have to put it all away and make a cup of tea, obviously. And I make fresh bread almost daily for people to eat, obviously. The kids love it. So then I've quickly done that as well, and just generally faffed about with a few things. So I'm here now, but I'm a bit... But I've got lots of things to share with you today. So settle yourself in, grab your own cup of tea, maybe. But I've got a few things to tell you about, and a few things to show you, and I've got a fun thing over here to show you. It's so funny. Let me have a quick... I'm never sure. At the end, after I've recorded these live, I download them and I upload them to YouTube. And I have about 1,000 subscribers over on YouTube, which is great, although I don't think very many of them bother to watch what I post. But never mind. I'm never sure whether to leave these bits in, these chatty waffly bits where I sip tea and talk to my own phone. I'm never sure whether to leave those bits in, or whether to just cut them out and we'll just show you the card making part. Or whether just to leave all the chat and tea drinking in. What do you think? Do you think I should cut it off, or should I just leave it in? Nah, leave it in. Make them sit through it. Right then. So I'm going to keep drinking my tea. I'm sorry, I need it. So the fun thing I'm going to show. So in my craft room, I have my craft room here. You can see it. All that mess behind me. Big shop there. Staff behind it there. I have my desk, and the desk is like a lump of worktop, and it's held up by 2 IKEA Alex drawer units, and each drawer unit's got 5 drawers in it on either side, and each drawer has a purpose. So the top drawer on this side is all my ribbons and bits and bobs and twines and things. The next drawer is like spare glue, spare dimensionals. I think I might need to order dimensionals. Good job I looked. Things like that. Use a little pot full of sponge daubers, embossing buddy, all those sorts of things. The next drawer down is where I store, at the back I've got all my retired ink pads, just in case they should ever bring some of those back. I've got those all hidden at the back there. And then I keep my spare order forms and my laptop. The next drawer down is actually a bit of a family drawer. So my husband keeps stuff in there. We keep odds and ends and a stapler and hole punch and family type stationery things in there. And then the bottom drawer is where I keep all my cellophane bags, craft, cafe bags, things like that. They all live in that bottom drawer as well. And then on this side, the top drawer is so tools. It's got my embossing powders in it, and like the thing for my Stamp-A-Majig, my pokey tools, things like that. Smaller tools. The next drawer down is actually where I keep my spare cardstock. Okay, so it's where I've cut off a bit and I've chucked the rest in the drawer. Okay, I don't organise it all nicely. The people who organise it by colour and file folders and stuff like that, that's marvellous if you've got the patience for that and would actually remember to put things back. I craft in a rush and in a mess, and I'm not that organised. So I just take all the bits big enough worth bothering with and chuck them in the drawer. And eventually the drawer gets very full. I'll come back to that drawer in a minute because that's the funny thing I want to tell you about. So the third drawer, is where I keep my paper trimmers. So they're in the third drawer. The fourth drawer is other tools. So it's got my piercing mats, my crocodile is in there, and I own one of those big white crocodiles as well. That's in there. My glue gun is in there. The tray I use to catch embossing folders is in there. All those sorts of larger tools are in there. And in the bottom of that drawer is my punches. I used to have them on a rail on the wall, and that was great. But when we moved house, I didn't put the rail back up. The rails were actually getting quite bent. I could have put them back up the other way around, I suppose. Do you know what? I'm a bit bad. I don't use my punches very often, to be honest with you. I'm a big shot girl. I love the punches, and they come out occasionally. And for speed, if you're mass producing, they are actually great. But I don't find I use them perhaps as much as I should, and some of them I can't remember when they were last used. So they're all in that sort of bottom drawer. But coming back to the second drawer, the cardstock drawer. So it had gotten really full since the last time I emptied it. And I mean really full, where when I opened the drawer, bits fell down the back. That kind of full. So yesterday I decided, it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I was probably procrastinating, putting things off. Yesterday I decided I would clear out the drawer. I would sort out the drawer. So I took it all out, piled it up on the desk, went and got the recycling bin from the kitchen, because the one in here wasn't going to be big enough, I can assure you. Got the recycling bin from the kitchen and went through it all. And if it wasn't big enough to worry about, I binned it. And I was quite ruthless. Some people, if you can get a punch out of it, they keep it. No. Basically, if it was less than a quarter of a sheet of card, it went in the bin. It's just because there was so much of it. If it was larger than that, I did pop it back in the drawer. But if it happened to be the size of a card base, then I put it to one side and decided I would turn them into card bases. Because quite often what I do when I make card bases is I take a whole sheet of A4 cardstock and I score it through the middle one way and cut it in half the other way. And which way I do it depends on what shape and card base I want, but you get the idea. So I basically make two card bases at the same time. And sometimes I use them both, and sometimes I just put the other one in the drawer. And sometimes I cut it and I only score one of them and put the other half in the drawer. And this drawer had got so full, I had no idea what was in there. If I'd wanted a bit of cardstock, a particular colour, it could have been in there, but I couldn't have found it. It was just buried. So I took all these pieces that were cardstock base size and turned them into card bases. Well, I found the equivalent of 90 card bases worth of card in this drawer. Okay, and that's not to mention the half a bin of recycling, the stuff that I threw away, all the bits and bobs that I put back in the drawer. Okay, just of card bases, there were the equivalent of 90 card bases in this drawer in assorted colours. Now, as it happens, I sorted the drawer about 6 months ago and did a similar thing, and had a whole load of card bases from then as well. And they were sat over there in the corner that I'd used some of them, but not all of them by a long way. And I found another 80 card bases sat over there. So I had 170 card bases now in my craft room. So then my husband came in and he was like, what are you doing? He was working from home yesterday. So then I sorted them, look, all into colours. Look, aren't I sad? But isn't it a pretty rainbow? of card bases. Some of them are retired even. They're that old. There's a couple of Coastal Cabana ones in here. Love Coastal Cabana. I'm hoping whenever they do a colour renovation, we might get that back. Really hoping we get that back. And maybe some Crisp Cantaloupe as well. I think there's a whole bunch of those. I think they're that old Crisp Cantaloupe. They are. Do you remember that? That was quite a nice colour as well. So yeah, so I have this whole rainbow of card bases. I better start making some stuff. Okay, because, you know, you need a colour card base. I'm your go-to girl. But I just thought I'd share that with you. That is so fun. 90 card bases in the drawer. Really? That's so bad. Need to do something about that. Need to do something about that. So jealous. You're jealous of my cardstock bin. The last time I sorted out the drawer, do you know what I did? I just actually took the entire contents, dumped them into one of those like rub, really useful type boxes, took it to my card class and said to the ladies there, help yourself, take it. It's my scraps bin. Take it. Have whatever you like. And most of it went, to be fair. They rummaged through it. Thanks very much. So I might give some of the card bases away, perhaps. Perhaps if you're coming to class tonight, maybe it might be a little something for you, because I'm never going to get through them. Let's face it. So, right, another Oh, sorry, now I can't swallow. What's going on there? So what else did I want to tell you about today before we get crafting? I want to tell you a little bit about the Crafty Carrot Collective. So it's a new month. We're into March now, which is frightening in itself, let's face it. Okay, and that's a new month for lots of things. So if you visit the blog and you're ordering online through me, you will find a new host code, reward code over there on the blog, and it should come out in today's newsletter, and it's on most blog posts and things like that. So don't forget to use that if you're online ordering. I use the same host code, whether it's my general blog or whether I'm putting something up about the Crafty Carrot Collective. I use the same code. So it doesn't matter which one you come across. Use that code for the month and you'll be fine, whichever you're looking for. For the Crafty Carrot Collective, so over in our group for March, we're sharing lots of projects using the Basket Bunch stamp set, which was our preferred stamp set to purchase during February. Our preferred stamp set to purchase during March is Cake Crazy. Okay, we were going to pick something else, and then we decided it didn't work quite right because some of the holidays are different. So in the UK, I think it was something to do with Mother's Day or not. In the UK, Mother's Day is in March. I don't know where, I can't remember where it is in the rest of the world, but I'm fairly certain in America it's May or June time. In England, in the UK, I tried using this set, it went wonky on me. It's meant to be wonky. That's the whole point. It's meant to be wonky. That's fine. You can hide up wonk with this set. That's great. It's great for hiding wonk. Yeah, it's meant to be. You build those wonky cakes. It's meant to. It's fine. It's good. Have another go. Try it. Be fine. Is linked to Easter. So Mother's Day is something to do with. I didn't leave any room for the top. Right. Well, I did that in a card the other day. I wanted to get a candle on, and I didn't quite leave enough room. Squidged it on anyway. Be fine. I guess you have to plan it out. What I do for that, Jodie, right, is but especially when they're clear like this, I lay them out on my desk. Right, this is how I'm gonna build it. Boom, 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 boom. How high is it gonna go? Right, that's how high it's going. That's how big my bit of cardstock needs to be to fit it all on. So the clear are really great for that because you can see, you can lay them on your desk and you can see exactly how much room it's going to take up. You just have to allow a little bit for the you get the stamp, and then obviously you've got a little bit of a surround. So you just kind of have to put a little bit of allowance in for that. Okay, but I use a gridded mat as well, which helps because then obviously it's got the measurements on it as well. So you can just lay them down. And I centre a lot of things up using the gridded mat as well. So I'll put things over one of the solid lines as my centre point, and then I can centre everything else sort of above it because I like things central like that. So The gridded mat is brilliant, I have to say. In the UK, Mother's Day is something to do with Easter. It's linked in some way to Easter. So when Easter is, Mother's Day is so many weeks before. Hi, Baz! But I don't think that's the case in some of the other countries, maybe, because Mother's Day in America, I'm fairly certain, is a different day to ours. So we were going to do that, and it wasn't going to work out anyway. So we went with Cake Crazy instead. So this is our stamp set. And I don't know if you saw my little blog post my little Instagram the other day. If you follow me on Instagram, I'd stamped this one. And as soon as I stamped it, let me put it a bit closer, and this one here. It looks like Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese, this one. Absolutely. Stamp it in yellow, it looks cheese. Promise. I did stamp it in yellow and it looked like cheese. I don't know what, I think it went in the bin. So, yeah. Cheese. So I'm working with this one. So if you want to join us during April, it does look like cheese. It totally does. If you want to join us over in the Crafts and Carrot Facebook group for April using Cake Crazy and seeing some fun things that you could do with this, all you have to do is purchase Cake Crazy or spend an equivalent amount. In the UK, this is £19. Okay, if you live in other countries, check the dollar amount for your country and purchase with your demonstrator for your country. Or spend the equivalent amount. So you don't have to buy Cake Crazy. You can buy whatever you like. If you spend up to the equivalent amount, you're in. Okay. We then use this stamp set for all our projects and what have you. So if you kind of want to play along, but we do lots of techniques and things. So even if you don't have the products we're using, you can still join in. Absolutely join in and just take the techniques that we use and apply them to other stamp sets in your collection. So I promise you there were some fantastic, absolutely fantastic projects in last month's Sweet Sentiment group. Krista did a gorgeous technique. Cindy was doing Case the Catalogue, which then lots of people took up her challenge to case the catalogue as well. They all looked fabulous. Everyone who took part, they were great. I did a gift box that you could assemble multiple ways depending on what your gift was going to be. And Susan and Jennifer had some fantastic techniques as well. So this month you can't get in on Basket Bunch now because that's the deadline for that's already closed. But if you'd like to join us in April, Cake Crazy or the equivalent amount. Okay. If you did miss out during February and you would like to see the projects and the techniques that we shared using the Sweet Sentiment stamp set, okay, you can now purchase the tutorial. Okay, so on Wednesday we released a tutorial bundle which bundled together all our tutorials. They're all written up, they've got photographs, there are links to the videos so you can still see the videos. You just miss out on that group interaction and you miss out on some of the challenges and the prizes and what have you, but you can purchase the tutorials and with that you get the videos and what have you. So I'm going to load that up on my blog later today, but you can also purchase it directly from the Crafty Carrot blog, which I think is craftycarrotcollective.blogspot.com. I think that's what it is. Or go to our Facebook group, our Facebook page, and there should be links to it in there. So if you want to grab that, I'm not actually sure how much it is in the UK. It's 15 American dollars, 15 US dollars, which given the rubbish exchange rate probably isn't very much English pounds, maybe £10, maybe even less, I don't know. It's probably a bargain, whatever it is. Sorry, I have to have a bit more of that. Yeah, so if you want to get in on that, my light's going up and down. It's a miserable day here, it's raining, it's horrible. I've got Totos to take, I'll have to wait. They won't come out very good today, they'll be horrible. So yes, if you want to see what we did with the Sweet Sentiment set, you can pick up the tutorial. And if you want to join us for Cake Crazy in April, then you just have to do a qualifying purchase with your demonstrator. Okay, right, so I've covered that. We'll pop that to one side. I've shown you my rainbow of card bases. So let's have a look at the project that we're going to be creating today. So let me just clear some bits and bobs out of the way. So once again, I'm sharing with you the card I made for the Global Design Project Challenge. I love their challenges. They're fantastic. And then when their challenge comes out based on when I create during the week, usually means that their challenge is a great card for me then to share with you in our craft and chat, Facebook craft and chat on a Friday. So because I generally create on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So so this is the card I made for their challenge this week, and I apologise that obviously the words are the wrong way round for you because of how I've got the camera. So their challenge this week was to case a card from Kylie Bertucci. Kylie Bertucci is the #1 demonstrator in Australia. She's actually about 8th in the world as well. She's fantastic. Jodie says it's very hot here. What's still in the evening? I couldn't. 38. Oh God, I couldn't cope with that. I couldn't. It's too hot. Too hot. You're in Australia or somewhere, aren't you? Too hot. I don't like to get too hot. Don't like to get too cold. Don't like to get too wet. There's about one day a year where I'm comfortable. The rest of the time, we're British. We complain about the weather incessantly, regardless of what it is. If it's raining, complain. If it's too hot, complain. If it's too windy, complain. Cold, complain. Okay? Simple as that. Okay? One day a year we're happy, maybe, if we're lucky. No snow, complain. Snow, complain. Oh dear, we're funny. We really are funny. We're a bit rubbish. Okay, so we're casing Kylie. I love Kylie. Kylie is fantastic. She really is. And her style isn't that dissimilar from mine in some respects. So I really love her cards. So her card was one where she had this sort of panel down the front and she'd stamped on it. Wrong type of leaves on the track. Absolutely. That's always a good one. So I decided I would do a stamped background as well, but I've kept it monotone in colour. So this is Daffodil Delight. I got out the old Birthday Bloom stamp set. I haven't seen that. I haven't used it for ages. And yet it's one I really, really like. So it was fun to bust that out again. But because I don't colour, I quite often use it like tone on tone, like as a background, because I don't do colouring in. And there's a lot of that to colour. So... and I don't do colouring. And then I've mounted it on a panel of Watermelon Wonder. And then we've got a heat embossed greeting and a couple of little die cut leaves. So this is the card we're going to make today. So I'm going to rejiggle the camera and we'll get started because I've got all the stuff here on my desk. So bear with me while I twiddle. And you see, then I put my hands in front now. We'll twiddle that, turn that. So you see my hand for a minute. Turn it round, round we go. Round, 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 round. Oh, then tighten it back up. Don't just let go. Why do we seem... we're swinging about all over the place. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, that's an interesting angle, isn't it? What is going on? Right then, we'll go with that. That's close enough. Otherwise we'll be here all day. Here we are then. So here's the card. Make sure you can see that. And then I've got a handful of bits and bobs. This is the leaf I used. It is from the Flourish Thinlits. Okay, the Flourish Thinlits this little leaf comes from. Okay, this is the right kind of leaf, Baz. Okay, right kind. Okay. Okay, but I've actually already die cut them. Look, I've got two. I die cut them from Old Olive cardstock. Okay, they're quite nice, quite delicate. Okay, here are all my other bits. So I've started out with a Whisper White card base. Okay, this is the thick A4, which I have cut in half down the short side. So down that side at 10.5 centimetres, and then I've scored it through the middle. Okay, but we don't have to do anything with that. So once we've got it ready, we can put it to one side. I've then got a piece of Daffodil Delight card. And what I've actually done with this for now is I've actually cut it to the same size as the front of my base card. Okay, we'll trim it down But I think it looks more natural if you've got stamping coming all off the edges. And that's easier to do if you've got a slightly larger piece of cardstock. And then trim it down to size. So, to go with it, we've got coordinating ink. So we've got Daffodil Delight ink. And somewhere I've got the stamps because I had them all ready to use. What have I done? Oh, they're there. Looking on the wrong side, look at me. So, the birthday balloon stamp set, that's this one. I've not used it for ages, and yet it's lovely. I've had it for ages as well, and I've not used it. So, there we go. Right then, so, get that all linked up with the old Daffodil Delight. And then, fairly randomly, and I say that deliberately, because it's random-ish, but I do take a bit of trouble to try and make sure I don't end up with any sort of really gaping holes. So I do try and sort of jiggle it about. And then for a couple of them I even stamped it upside down to get slightly better coverage. So I don't think I could cope with stamping them sideways, that would drive me batty, but then we'll pop another one there. The only problem with it being such a large stamp is then you get it all over the desk, but we'll sort that in a minute. And another bit up there. There we go. So it's fairly covered, and so is the desk, so that's nice. Okay. But the trick to that, do you know what? The stamp cleaner is really good as desk cleaner as well. Okay. So that and a bit of tissue. And Bob's your uncle. Okay. I deal with the stamp later. So, I've done all over my panel, like that. I'm going to have to move my rainbow of card bases, because they're in the way. Let's find the old paper trim. And we're going to trim this down. And I've trimmed it, so we're going to keep the height the same, but we're going to trim it to 3 inches wide. Now, I'm quite happy with this side. If I was feeling awkward, I could trim from both sides, but this side looks quite nice, so I'll trim off that side. And I still haven't changed the blade in this, so it's still as dead as a whatnot. There we go. Like that. So I've trimmed it to 3 inches. And maybe you can think of something to do with the bit you trimmed off. I'm sure you can design another card with the bit you trimmed off. Absolutely. Okay. So, there we are. So I've got a piece of Watermelon Wonder card that is now 3.5 inches wide. So then you're going to stick those together and just leave that narrow border. Now for speed, I would say I would use a snail, but my snail isn't speedy at the minute because it's one of those ones where it's gone all horrible on me and I have to keep pulling the tape out all the time. So I won't use that. I'll use a bit of Tombow. Okay. Stick that on there. Ta-da! Easy peasy. This is actually quite a quick, easy card, and there aren't any seriously fancy techniques this week, I'm afraid. Okay, so that's all ready. But this is also a really quick card as well. Next up, we're going to heat emboss our sentiment. I've picked the 4U one. I really like the fonts in this stamp set, actually. But I wasn't sure when I'd actually send a card that said Dear Friend on it. Not that I don't have friends, but I'm not sure I'd send one that said Dear Friend. And the Happiest of Birthdays to You, which I was going to use, but it ended up being a little bit too big for the card design. But 4U can work for birthdays and also Mother's Day, I was thinking. So we need Versamark ink. We need white embossing powder, which I have got somewhere. We need something to catch the embossing powder in. I've got this old tray. What else do we need? Heat gun, that's over there plugged in. Don't worry about that. Right then, so. Okay, Versamark to ink up your stamp. Try not to get it all around the edges, okay? You could use an embossing buddy on here. I find when I use it on black card, it turns my card funny. It leaves a sort of a white residue that I don't like. So I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk that it's all contaminated card, and I'm going to stamp it anyway. So there we go. Stamp that down. Obviously you can't see diddly. Okay, and then I don't know that you can see. Cover the whole thing now in embossing powder, and the reason we use Versamark is that it's a slow drying ink, which gives you time to apply the powder. Give it a few taps to get any excess off. Maybe a little bit of a, but don't blow off the ink, the powder that's stuck. Actually, it's not too bad. If you've got a dry paintbrush, you can take them to the, if you're brave enough to get close, you can take them to any stray flecks that you've got. If I've got a lot, I probably would. I don't actually have that many, so I won't worry about it today. So I'll stick that to one side and I'll deal with it later. So now we need to heat emboss this, and I'm going to see if my cord will reach. I don't know if it will. It's all plugged in, but whether it's going to reach as far as my desk, I'm not sure. So here's my heat tool. Okay, on and off. Be very careful with your heat tool, obviously. It gets hot. Okay, you can't use like a hairdryer or anything because they blow heat and you'd blow the powder off. Okay, but obviously this gets incredibly hot, so be very sensible while you're using it, and very sensible when you store it when it's hot afterwards. Personally, I turned mine on. Hope you can still hear me. And just let it warm up for a moment or two. Don't do that. Okay. And then when you're happy that it's got warm, you can put it over the top. You want it a couple of inches away. And you just keep it moving. If you leave it in one place too long, it will burn the cardstock. And just keep it moving, and eventually you'll see the powder melt. And it will go very shiny and bright. There we are. I think it's done. So store that very carefully. Okay, because obviously it's hot. And then basically my embossing powder, I'm going to lose focus if I'm not careful, has gone all shiny, and the white really comes out, and I love white embossing powder on black. I really do. Now, I have then die cut that with some dies. Oh, I've used my stick shape framelits. Here they are. Did you know you can still buy these? Yeah, I forget, because they're not in a catalogue. You can actually still buy these. I've used that one. That's what, the second smallest oval. That's the smallest. So the one up from that. You can still buy these from your demonstrator. They're still available. Whilst they're not in any of the publications, you can actually still buy them. Okay, and then they will turn up in the next catalogue as well. So I'm going to quickly cut that out with my Big Shot. And I'm not going to bother dragging it over. No offence. So you'll just have to believe me that I'm over here. Here goes the rollers. Ping. There we go. No, see? Woo. Right then. Oh, I'll find a home for that in a minute. Okay. So now we have all our pieces. It's just an assembly job now. So you're going to want some dimensionals and some glue dots. I'm going to use the glue dots, if I can find some, to stick the leaves onto the back of here. Those leaves are quite delicate. I'm going to pop a glue dot on the back of there. Hopefully it's in the right place. Okay, I'm going to pop, look at that, get me. And then I'm going to pop another one pretty much on top, to be fair, right next door. And then I'm going to pick up the other one and put it at a bit of an angle. There we go. And then if you want to be sure they're not going to move, when I put my dimensional on, I just whack one over the top, and then they ain't going anywhere then. Okay, so that's ready to go. And then on the back of this, we're going to use some dimensionals as well. So one in each corner, one in the middle. If you're feeling generous, you can whack a whole load on, it's up to you. So remove the backing from those, bring my card base back in. And I'm going to position this about 1 centimetre from the left. So it's off centre, in fact, not even that much. I want it off centre. If I move it, do it 1 centimetre, it looks too much like it was meant to be in the middle and I got it wrong. So I'm going to come even more, maybe only ½ a centimetre over. Okay, I'm going to stick that down, like so. And then take the back off of there. And stick that on. Oh, no, not there. I'm going to pop that off to the right hand side as well. There we go. All done. That quick and easy. That quick and easy. Okay, I love heat embossing. White on black is stunning. Absolutely love it. In fact, I've got a drawer full of other colours, almost never use them. Almost only ever use white. Okay. So here we are. Here's a couple of really nice, and like I say, this would make a lovely Mother's Day card, but it would also make a great birthday card as well, or just for a friend as well. So let me twiddle you back round. Let's have a go. Let's twiddle this knob instead and see what happens. Oh, yeah, look, see, you get a view of my desk. And my wall. I had my wall painted summer starfruit. I'm hoping they bring that colour back as well, if ever they do, when they next do one. So, there we go. Did you like today's card? Yeah? It's pretty. It's a pretty card. I love the Global Design Project Challenge. So, if you haven't popped over to their blog and had a look, take part, join in. You've already taken part this week, Baz. I saw your entry. And I left you a little comment on your, because you did it via Pinterest, didn't you? I left you a little comment. Because it was a great card, actually. Baz's card is really good for her panel. She's made it look like a bar of chocolate. Okay, so that appeals immediately, obviously. Okay, so her panel is the bar of chocolate, and then she's got like a little message, chocolatey message. It was great. It's a really good card. So you should be very proud of yourself, and I will keep my fingers crossed that you win. Okay. So, but no, they're just a fab challenge. They do a sketch challenge, a colour challenge, a case the designer challenge, and then usually some sort of theme challenge. And it alternates that through the weeks. And there's fabulous designers on their team. And it's just a really good one to take part in, actually. Really enjoyed taking part in that one. So if you're looking for a challenge to take part in, and it helps me make stuff. Okay, and make sure that there's stuff on the blog for you to look at and things like that. Otherwise you can, I don't know about you, but a few weeks can pass and you haven't actually made anything. So it helps me. I'm making something for that. And sometimes I love how they come out, and sometimes I'm like, it's okay, but at least I made it. Okay. So this was this week's card for that, but also for you guys. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today's craft and chat. I'm still trying to get used to the name, right? I certainly have. Thank you for everybody who's watched live. Thank you in advance if you're watching this recorded, if you're watching it on YouTube, if you're watching it via my blog and all the other places you can watch it. Thank you very much. I will be back next Friday, and next Friday is the second Friday of the month, so I'm going to make that at the moment my online class. Okay, so next Friday it will be a longer session and we will have 3 projects. So if you remember in February I did the Balloon Adventures trio that was I've got some of them. Oh, this one. There was like 3 cards like this. Well, not exactly the same as this, obviously. A trio of, here they are. I knew I had them here somewhere. Look, there they are. So in February I made these cards in my Facebook Live class. So next week, next Friday, Facebook Live class again. As a so we still chat. We still have all that chat stuff as well, obviously. But 3 projects. So we'll be here for about an hour. We'll make 3 projects, and then if you want to get your hands on a tutorial to go with it, I give those to my newsletter subscribers. So you might want to get over to the blog, or I might pop a link for the newsletter in the when I edit this post, I'll pop a link for the newsletter subscription on here as well. So you might want to get in on that. I'm also going to pop a quick tutorial for this, excuse me, A quick one-page instructional tutorial PDF for this will go out to my newsletter subscribers today. So hop over there. That goes out about 5 p.m. normally, my time, which is in about 6.5 hours time. So wherever you are, in about 6.5 hours time. Okay. So if you want to get in on that, absolutely do, because I do lots of exclusive tutorials where the PDFs are just for my newsletter subscribers. So people can see the video and things on the blog, but then the PDF is for the newsletter subscribers. So go and sign up for that now. Okay, go on, off you go. Okay, and while you're there, buy Cake Crazy and join us for Crafty Carrot during April. Okay, you'll love it, I promise. And yeah, and I've got Laughs and Paper Crafts tonight. So if you are one of my live customers and are coming to Laughs and Paper Crafts tonight, see you later. We have 3 lovely projects, including a little 3D Easter basket project today. So join me for that. And then in a minute, I'm just going to go make cupcakes as well. Yummy. Okay, so I'll see you all in some way, somewhere, very soon. Bye.